Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Andrew Tong for an interview today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Absolutely. So my name is Andrew Tong. I am a Los Angeles-based actor, singer, baker. I do
I
some
saw that.
baking on my TikTok. And I've been doing vertical shorts for just over a year now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I actually just noticed you're a baker the other day when it popped up, and I was like, oh, he knows how to bake.
Yeah, it's something that, I grew up watching the Food Network,
Mm,
and it's something that I've always been drawn to and wanted to do. And the cool thing about the internet is that you don't need anyone's permission to post anything. So, yeah, it started at the beginning of the year. I started doing weekly lives on
mm,
Wednesdays, and it's a fun little community night. I get to chat with people. We get to make something, and at the end of it, usually I get to show it off. Um, and yeah, keep my skills fresh, share something with people, and have a good time.
What is your favorite thing to bake?
That's a great question. I I started baking cheesecake, which sounds like a really
Mm.
random thing to start with.
But it's the
Um,
best thing. It's the best thing.
it's up there, definitely. And something happens when you bring a cheesecake into a room.
Mhm.
Like people's faces just light up. They're like, "Oh, thank God, there's a cheesecake." Um, and so I'd say that's definitely one of my favorite things and one of the first things that got me into baking.
Mm. Right. My dad's a chef, and he used to make coffee cheesecake, and I've never been able to find
Oh
it
my
since.
goodness.
But
Oh,
it's good. Yeah.
so good.
Maybe you need to try coffee cheesecake.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Your projects are quite varied. Is that intentional or just how things unfolded?
I think a lot of actors would feel the same way, but that's just kind of the way that it folded, you know?
Hmm.
I started with a German frat brother last year for Candy Jar, and that set in motion just a wild year of a bunch of different roles.
Hmm.
I send in lots of different self-tapes for supporting, for leads, for villains, for assistants, for anything that I think I would be right for.
Hmm.
And the how my filmography has kind of played out is what what characters I've really connected to and the the times that I have been the perfect fit for the role, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Hmm. That does
And
make sense.
so, yeah, it's interesting looking back the different roles that I've played because there's not really a through line through them. Um, but it gives me a chance to explore different types of roles, which I'm
Yeah.
really appreciative for.
Expand your skill sets.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Does your approach to your characters change depending on the genre?
I think the initial approach, I would say no.
Hmm.
Only in that when you're first starting to understand a character, you need to understand where they've been, where they are, and where they're going. And those three things are pretty central to every character that you come into contact with. In some stories, we meet characters in the middle of their transformation, some they're, just at the beginning, some they've gone through a lot and now they're where they are now. They're very storied. Um, and so, really understanding the full scope of who they are is where I like to start. But what does change is approach. So, once you know that, if I know that I'm doing a camp comedy, how I approach my character interactions, my reactions, how that character is going to interact with the world around them is going to change based on the genre, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But the core of who they are is pretty central to every character that I explore.
Have you ever gone into a role thinking, oh, it's going to be this way, and then it's like, no, no, we want something completely different?
Mm. Yeah, let me think. Hmm. I don't know that there's been a complete genre bend that I've been a part of. Um, pretty much everything that you do when you at least talk to the director if you're in callbacks or you get the script, usually you can tell what the lines along it are. Um, but I'm trying to think. I think one that I didn't realize what it would be until I finally started to get on set and do it would be Daughter of Zeus.
Yeah.
In that, I'm a very sassy camp
Hmm.
god,
Yeah.
who looks so fabulous. I got
Yes.
so lucky with the costume design on that one. But the scope and the epicness with
Mm.
which they told that story, all those shots in the arena and the ghouls in the forest, I didn't get to see that in the script that I had. I mean, I had the full script, but until you're on set and you're doing it and people are actually like wielding fake swords and the ghouls are in the makeup chair for almost an hour, with being airbrushed to perfection. It really changed the scope with which I was able to view the project. And it
Yeah.
turned
Yeah.
out, I don't know if you've had a chance to
I've
see
seen
it.
it. Yes.
It turned out gorgeous.
The costume designs in that one were spectacular
Mhm.
for everyone.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was so good. I guess, getting the script and then actually seeing it unfold could be
Hmm.
like you said, give a huge mind shift as to what you're expecting when you're actually there. Because, I mean,
Absolutely.
there was a lot of people in that arena. There was a lot of
Hmm.
people. So, it
Absolutely.
would have brought the energy up also with having that many people there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And yeah, especially for those scenes, there were, oh, I don't know, probably maybe 40 people in
Mm,
total, like on set going up for a take. Because you've got all the
yeah.
actors that you see, and then you've got your director, your producers, your PAs, your gaffers, your grips, your DP, all of your, ACs. And so
Mm.
there's a whole team
Yes. And then,
behind the
the
camera.
actual cast as well. There was plenty of people in
Oh,
there.
absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool.
They were
I
all
like
working
that.
hard.
Yes, they were. All right. Do you focus more on emotional backstory or physical choices first?
Hmm. Emotional backstory is really handy to have, um, to be able to sit in before you really start to
Mm,
get going with the character, before you make choices about, oh, this is how I want to interact with this character. This is how I think that this person would do this. Getting a real sense of, like I said before, who they are, where they've come from, what they're dealing with internally, externally, uh, being able to sit with that and have it be second nature really helps inform your choices. So I'd say probably emotional backstory first,
yeah.
because the understanding of that is what influences the physical choices. You
How do
know,
you handle
Yeah.
a script when it doesn't give you much backstory?
That's the beautiful thing about acting is you get to make it up.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Yeah.
to make it up. Um, so, for example, in The Prince's First Love,
Mhm.
we know that I'm a prince and that I come from a royal family and that my mother has told me that I have to marry this girl. And someone's mad. And so that's about all we know. And so for me, even though the audience may never know, I get to go back and say, okay, what was his childhood like? Did he have many friends? You know, were there instances where he was maybe expressing himself as a child and his mother, whoever, was like, "Hey, stop that, royals don't act like this." Like what happened essentially before we saw him? Because there's
Yeah.
essentially, 17, 18 years of history that we
Mm.
just don't get to know as the audience. And so I got to play around with it and
Mm.
figure out, okay, what was he doing? What clubs would he potentially join in high school? Was he like a fencing, athletic prince, or was he more bookish? Does he appreciate bland food or very flavorful food? Like it's just like little things that you get to, because it's not written explicitly, you get to explore as an actor. And that's, I think, where the imagination really gets going. And that's for me where a lot of the joy of acting comes. Um, because I forget who, I think it was Greta Gerwig, who talked about when she writes, she's creating this character, this flame, of a person. And when she casts someone, she hands it off to the actor, and it's their job to take care of it and to nurture it and to grow it into something that she couldn't. Obviously, she had a vision for, but something that's uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the backstory is where you get to do a lot of that.
I think that's great because you can also connect to it better than if someone's written it down for you.
Absolutely. And it becomes specific. In
Yeah.
acting, we talk a lot about making choices with specificity and
Mm.
making them personal and taking things personally and having a good solid backstory in addition to being present in the moment really helps create really
Mm.
specific moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Um, what helps you do your best work as an actor?
Mm. Preparation helps.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, reading your script,
Yeah.
which sounds basic, but it's more common that you find people who haven't read the script than you would think. Um, doing your character work, your backstory stuff. And for me, it's all about my morning routine, specifically going to set. I'm someone who hates to be rushed. And so I love having a quiet, chill morning where I can get up, shower, do my skincare, have a cup of coffee, journal a little bit, before I go to work and have to do Lord knows what on
Hmm.
set.
Yeah, I'm the same. I always set my alarm for like an hour before I need to. And then everybody's
Yep.
like, why are you setting it so? I'm like, I need time. I can't just get up. I mean, I can do
Mm-mm.
it, but I don't like to do it. So I
Yeah.
like to pace myself. I don't want to get up, get the kids ready for school and then rush out the door. I want to sit down and scroll on my phone for a good 20 minutes and just I get
Exactly. Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
and give yourself that calm, peaceful moment to not have to rush
Mhm.
through it and then be rushed going into your day.
Yeah, it sets the mood for the entire day, I think. So,
Absolutely. I completely agree.
yes. All right. How do you avoid being boxed into one type of role?
I think, it's a balance
Mm.
because there are what we called in my program bread and butter roles, where they're roles that you as a person, whatever your personal backstory is, your personal history, something in that connects you to certain types of roles that you can pull out of your back pocket, play effortlessly. You understand them, you know them, and you can emulate that better than anyone else,
Mm.
And then there are roles that challenge you that may not be an immediate fit from first look, but that you bring an interesting perspective to.
Mm.
And so I think, and part of it is the part that we haven't, I guess, talked about yet is the business aspect of it.
Mm.
Because we are fortunately or unfortunately in the business of making money with our work a lot of times. And so it's a combination of those two things. I think what do you do well? What unique perspectives do you bring? But then also the third aspect of what can you do that's going to sell the project for people?
Yeah.
You know, there are some people who are incredible villains because
Mm.
they bring something so sinister and larger than life to the characters. but when given a chance, they actually do really, I think, impactful dramatic work. Um,
Mm,
it's just a matter of I think it's hard because we as actors don't always get to choose that, you know?
yeah.
And I know a lot of actors um like myself like to feel and play roles that aren't all the same, that do have variety to them. And so I think yeah, it's hard. I think
Yeah.
to a roundabout answer, it's hard because we don't always get to necessarily choose that. Now, if
Mm,
pick an actor off the street, I bet you that they'll say, I would love to play, you know, uh, a hero this day, a villain this day, and just really go to what they resonate with.
yeah.
But, we all have different strengths. And,
Yeah.
playing to those strengths can be useful in a business context. And um, sometimes it's for better or for worse what we
Mm,
what we end up in.
yeah. I guess auditioning for everything will give you the
Mhm.
opportunity to, be able to possibly get those other roles that I guess some people could only apply for certain roles because they think that's their only strength. Also,
Yeah.
like, go and apply
Hmm.
for other things, broaden that, and you might just get the opportunity you want or something.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the artistic talents of casting directors is
Mm,
that even when someone comes in with a preconceived notion of what projects they've done before and what essence they bring, they're able to see past that and see,
yes.
okay, for this specific character, what is this actor's perspective on it? You know? And
Mm,
I've been afforded opportunities by casting directors who have cast me in things that I didn't think I was right for necessarily. But they saw past that and said, "Hey, here you go. We think you're a perfect fit," and trusted me to bring my perspective to it. And so
yeah.
that's shout out
Casting
to all
directors are
the
great.
yeah, shout out to them because they
Yeah.
they have a talent for seeing past the marketing, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched some, other productions like, TV and things like that. And people will go in and apply for a role, but then they'll be like, well,
Mhm.
you don't fit this character, but we've got this character and we think you're going to be great for that one. So they may not
Mhm.
get the job that they applied for, but they still
Yeah,
got a job doing something else where their personality fit.
absolutely. Yes.
So, yeah. So apply for
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right. Are there any skills you are working on that the audience hasn't seen yet?
Mm. I think uh, my musicianship is
Hmm.
something that I haven't gotten to do in a vertical yet that I would love to. I play a bit of piano, trying to learn guitar.
Hmm.
I sing. And so utilizing those talents in some way, shape, or form in a vertical, I think would be a lot of fun. I know, was it Real Short just did their first musical vert with Luke,
Mm.
I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Um, and I've heard pray tell of some others here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think and anything music related would be a lot of fun. I come from a musical theater background, and so being able to meld those two loves of film and of music would be absolutely fun. And then I've
Mm.
also been looking for, this is just more of like a personal one, but I did some stage combat in college. We had a course that was stage combat, and we got certified in hand-to-hand rapier and dagger and broadsword.
Yeah.
And I would love to do some broadsword work.
Mm.
I think uh, a knight or anything, and any sort of like choreographed fight sequence with swords, pirates, knights, whatever it may be, would be a lot of fun.
I was talking to Sarah Sampino in my last interview, and she's also been trained in broadsword. So she wants
Yeah,
to do something like that too. So I'm like, bring people's natural talents to these verticals and they will just shine.
Oh, absolutely. And actors have some of the strangest talents that you would never know. You know,
Yeah.
people that's the great thing about actors is that we come from so many varied backgrounds that you
Mm.
never know what someone might bring to the table that could just blow a role out of the water, you know.
Yes. Yeah. I forgot who I was speaking to about this. But I was like, I think it was Teague actually. So I was like, how do you promote yourself in
Hmm.
those things when it comes to like casting? Because I mean, I know that you go on to like Actors Access, and you've got
Hmm.
like a kind of like resume thing on there. But how do you push those natural talents? How do you get them out there so people know that you can do them?
I think social media, once again, is a great
Mm.
way of doing that. You're able to showcase your talents, whether it's singing, whether it's baking, whether it's
Hmm.
broadsword or anything else. Your uh, social media is the new business card, and
Mm.
so you're at least for actors, I
Yeah.
feel. And if you want to showcase something, do it in your brand's way of doing it. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah.
just have to be a behind the scenes video of you doing fighting something. You know, you could, if
Mm.
you're more of like if your platform is more based on skits and things, you know, you could incorporate it into that. Or if it's very aesthetic driven content, you know,
Mm.
there's ways to incorporate your your special skills into the aesthetic version of yourself that you wish to present.
Yeah,
And
that's good
I
advice.
think social media is probably the easiest way to do that.
It's a wider, broader way of getting it out there than just be like, hey, I can do this. So,
Absolutely. And then sometimes on
yeah.
set, you know, you bring something up and the director, if there's time and you know it's something that's not going to put people in danger, they're like, yeah, sure, do it.
That's good.
You know, and then you kind of you have to advocate for yourself a little bit on that one. But
Mm.
if it's something that adds to the character that you can do at the drop of a hat, might as well try it out, you know?
Yeah, especially if they're open to you doing that, that's really good. I know that some sets obviously don't allow much improv, but
Mhm.
some are it's like, yeah, go for it, which is really good
Absolutely.
and freeing for you guys to be able to do that. So,
Yes.
all right. Do you ever find a character during rehearsals, or does it usually click once you're on set?
I think it's like building a house brick by brick.
Mm.
Each bit of rehearsal that you do adds another brick. There's a
Mm.
new layer of understanding. You could read a script 4 or 5 different times and notice something different every time,
Yeah.
just based on what the subconscious is working on there. And so in rehearsal, especially for something like a play, you know, we build the core of the story and the emotion and the movement that we will be performing within. But during performance and when it gets up on its feet, during previews and tech, you get to find these little grace notes, you know, the pastels and the blending of notes and colors that weren't necessarily visible from the bare bones structure that you were building during rehearsals. But because you set that groundwork and you've laid that groundwork and you've done your prep, that's the biggest thing,
Hmm.
is there's a lot of work to be done even outside of rehearsal. But having done all that and building that foundation, you're able to notice the nuances in everything.
Hmm.
And so I think it's more of a progression than, you know, one thing is found here and one thing is found here. Costumes for me are huge.
Yeah.
Getting into my costume, seeing what I'm going to wear influences a lot about physicality. You know, your
Mm.
shoes are going to change how you walk. For example, my Prince jacket in
Mhm.
Prince's First Love had me standing up straighter and
Yeah.
changed the way that I moved through the world. And so, yeah, there's bits and pieces throughout the entire process that
Yeah.
create what
I can
eventually
see
is.
I can see how the clothing could put you into character a lot more. And even just the makeup and the hairdo and just
Mhm.
everything that on set would help you get into that. And the vibe, Also, it's
Yes.
a lot different in rehearsal when you're doing it to a screen rather than
Yeah,
doing it in a setting where everybody's in the same kind of vibe as you.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. What part of your performance happens before the camera rolls versus in the moment?
Obviously, knowing your lines is
Mm,
huge. Knowing where the scene needs to go emotionally and having an idea and a check-in of where your scene partner is at, just
mm,
practically, you know, is how are things going that day? Was lunch really bad and now we're in a slump? Are we behind?
mm.
Really knowing how the person in front of you is doing can be helpful in approaching. I guess I'm thinking more like emotional scenes, larger scenes. Um, but in performance, when the cameras are rolling, it's something that I'm still working on every day, and I think I'll be working on it till I'm in the ground. But being present in the moment and being able to fully explore them and pay attention to new things as they come up is huge. Almost exactly like I said with the prep for a role. When you've learned your lines and you're at least on the same page with your scene partner and you're present and in the moment, you're able to notice those nuances as they bubble up, you know? Maybe you've said a line the same way for 3 takes, and then we're lucky if we get 3 takes on a vertical.
Yes.
Maybe you've said the same line a couple of similar ways, and
Mm,
in the moment you have a thought like, "Oh, what if I tried it this way?" What if I gave it this nuance or this color, and what if instead of jabbing it was, slicing or endearing or joking, and being able having the confidence in your prior preparation to be able to meet those moments when they come up, oftentimes create the moments that are in the final edit because
mhm.
they're the moments that are the most present, they're the most real. You can tell that the actors are engaged and they're not phoning it in because they're exploring as it happens. And so we do our best as actors to be able to be in that. Um, it's difficult to be able to get there, but when we're there, it's magic.
Mm,
Plain and
definitely. Have you
simple.
gone into a character where you've gone in thinking it's one way, but then your co-star has like changed that dynamic because they took
Mm,
it as like a different way?
mm. I think maybe not a whole character, but
Mm,
scenes in particular.
yeah.
Something reads one way on the page. I
Mm,
look at it, memorize my lines, thinking, okay, this is how I think the scene will go. And then as we block and rehearse, you settle into a meeting of the minds, so to
mm,
speak. And so most of the time it's you and your scene partner or you and the group coming together and making something that is now realized and out of
mm,
everyone's heads. And it's not any one person's vision of how it should go.
yeah.
And it's a a meld of all the
Collective.
ideas.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. It's a give and take. They may come in with this energy, you meet them with your energy, and then it grows and blossoms into something that is of no one's own creation.
Yes. I think a lot of, just having different characters in there, like, one of my questions, which I'll ask you now because it goes off
Yeah,
that, is like, how do
yeah.
you make similar roles feel unique? And I
Mm,
know that characters have a lot to do with that, like background characters and things like that for people. So,
absolutely. In the verticals, it can be trickier,
mm,
mainly because we are working with archetypes of characters. So we're
yeah.
working with which goes back to a little bit of Shakespeare and older forms of, commedia dell'arte and Italian forms of comedy, um, and much of what sitcoms are based off of. But when you're playing the bully, you could play it as the bully, or you could create an interesting backstory. Say, okay, I could just play it straight and be mean, or I could add some fun to it, or I could add some hurt to it, or I could maybe play jealousy or a longing romance, and I think that's one of those things that you have to do for yourself as an actor to differentiate
Mm.
them is to maybe give yourself a challenge, find
Mm.
something that you connect with in the character, see where that sits within you, and then build off of that. It it can be difficult because with the archetypes, there are certain things that are expected of them
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
in, vertical stories. But especially now, as things progress and change, I feel like we've seen variations within those archetypes that are
Mm.
allowing bolder, fresher character choices within them,
Yeah. Oh, good. And it
So
allows you to have that little bit of freedom.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that like we talked about earlier with backstory. It's something
Mm.
that only you may know,
Yeah.
but that is more fulfilling for you as an actor than just saying, "Oh, I have to play the bully today."
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I like the villains having backstory because then we get more as an audience to see
Mhm.
why they're doing what they're doing rather than they're just doing it because they can. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. And I think as an audience, we appreciate that. Like, at least I
hmm
do. I like
hmm
to know why they're doing what they're doing, what's the reason. Sometimes you can even feel a little bit of sympathy for them
hmm
because they're giving you that backstory, um,
Right.
rather than just going in going, yep, I don't like them, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Have you learned something from another actor on set that changed how you work?
Hmm. I think first starting out, acting is a unique job in
Mm.
that, especially on verticals, you're coming together for a 10-day shoot, right? You're creating this 10-day family, and you're going to be working in high stakes, high stress, long hours, and you you hope that that environment is a good workplace.
Yeah.
What I've learned from especially the first couple sets that I was on is that number one and number two on the call sheet have an immense amount of sway on the vibe of the shoot.
Hmm. Yeah.
If they come in and they are warm and welcoming and kind is huge, and treat everyone with respect, be professional, know their lines, it it creates in an environment to where people feel comfortable to be able to do their best work. And if something arises, we can address it, and we don't feel like we're stepping on eggshells. And it's so important, and it shows in the final product. But that's definitely, I think, the biggest thing I've learned is the responsibility that comes with being a lead.
Yeah.
I
I can see
and
that.
and the things that yeah, the difference that it makes when you step up to the challenge and you lead, you are a leader
Mhm.
versus phoning it in and showing up to work.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to try and go in being prepared for every single role, but I can see how being the lead has a huge impact for the rest of the people around you.
Absolutely, because you're with those people, you're with the crew and the rest of the cast for 10 days straight. you know?
Mm,
And so if you're not in a great headspace and you're going to make it the rest of everyone's problem, it's
mm,
not going to be a good shoot.
yeah.
And it the environment of a set definitely changes when the the people that have the power to influence it use that power for good.
Mm. Yeah, I think the biggest, besides the lead, the biggest one would be the director and producer as well. They have to
Absolutely.
be, yeah, because they're,
Hmm.
producing. So that
Yeah,
would make a huge difference too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it helps everyone else kind of follow the leader. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
if your creative team is there and ready to work, you feel more capable to take on the day because the
Yeah.
days are long and they are hard,
Yes. Very.
and it makes it enjoyable most of the time when people are excited to be there.
Good. That's good. All right. Are you more drawn to characters that challenge you technically or emotionally?
Ideally, in a character, you would have both,
Mm,
but I think there are different characters for different goals. You
mm,
know, a character that challenges you emotionally is going to challenge you as an actor and a person to be vulnerable, be in the moment, ask things of yourself as an actor that are hard to do. But that is a very internal kind of process. Um, Roles that challenge you technically are usually very physically demanding, usually some sort of combat experience, skills-based things. Um, things of that nature. And those are also great challenges as an actor to be able to push yourself. Like, okay, I have to learn the guitar in 2 weeks. Can I do it?
mm.
And can I make it look natural on screen? You know, it's a fun challenge to put yourself through as an actor. But I think we gain something from all of them. And I don't know that I prefer one over the other.
Hmm. You like
I think
both?
that yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. What's something about acting that looks easier from the outside than it really is?
I've mentioned it a couple times,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
being in the moment is so, so hard. And I encourage everyone, if they think that being in the moment is easy, next time you're having a conversation with someone, notice, am I thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch later? Oh, I just got a notification on my phone. Like, what does that say? Am I actually listening to the person in front of me, or is it on halfway in the background? Because especially in this day and age with as many distractions as we have around us, it is so difficult to be present with the people in front of us. And the best actors make it look effortless. But there is so much work being put in to making it look effortless and to being present and in the moment.
I also know that it's easier to be in the moment with certain people than it is with others. So it kind of you just need to click in that right place as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. That you attacked me then. No. Living in the
And
moment is not easy. I
it's
mean, it
not
is with
easy at
you because
all.
it's great, but like
Oh, that's so
sometimes it's
sweet of
just
you.
not easy. So,
No, it's not. And yeah, like I said, in this day and age, we have so many distractions
mm,
everywhere.
yeah.
Phones, uh, people, just even being in public. Sometimes there's just a lot going on, you know, the news.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on at all times. And so finding that groundedness is tricky, but
Mm,
when it's found, it's magic, like I said.
mm. And it's easier to be in the moment when it's something that you enjoy.
Yes.
Like,
Hmm.
if you're not enjoying yourself as much, you just don't really fully live there than
Right.
if you're having so much fun. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. Is there anything you want anyone to know about you or your work?
Hmm. I, as an actor, just as a person in general,
Mm,
hope that my work brings people joy, hopefully allows them to learn something, whether it's about a new topic or about themselves, um, allows people to see other perspectives, and is a roadmap and a vessel for connectedness and community.
mm,
I think, and it's hard in the vertical space sometimes because we as actors don't always have a choice. I mean, there's always a choice,
mm,
but a lot of the content, some of the content and the roles that were offered are don't always align with our values,
yeah,
and we have to make choices along, is this something I feel like I can offer to people from my platform to foster that. In the vertical space, sometimes it's difficult because, for example, not all the villains have a great redeeming quality or
mm,
a a moral at the end of them. Uh, Not every romance necessarily says great things about relationships or that sort of thing. I mean, we're not here to tell completely moral stories. That's not our job as actors.
yeah,
But I hope to be able to foster a community and curate the projects that I do to be able to achieve those goals that I mentioned. And I
yeah,
try really hard to be able to do that.
mm,
And yeah, I hope that I get to do more of that. And I get to explore characters that challenge me, challenge my audience, and bring people joy. Like
yeah,
in today's day and age, it things are really dark right now.
they
And
absolutely.
I won't get into all of that. But
Mm,
art is the combatant to that.
mm,
So, yeah, I think that's what I want people to know is that
yeah,
I try to be intentional with what I do. And I
mm,
hope that it is received in the way that I want it to. It's not always, but
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
think, like you mentioned before, you can try and, lead that in the right direction. But sometimes, as you said, sometimes you don't always get a choice. Um,
Yeah.
but I've always said this, I think the biggest thing out of that is people need to understand that you are not your character. So, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's the biggest thing. People need to understand that, you might have been like the worst person in the world in this, but you're not
Mhm.
that person in real
Right.
life.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I
absolutely.
mean, not playing those roles is definitely helpful. But at the
Hmm.
same time, not everybody gets that choice. Some people
Right.
just have to take what they're given because it would help
Oh,
their career.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's also a business.
Mm,
And as actors, if this is our primary gig, we aren't always
mm,
going to get to play the characters that we're super connected to. But
yeah.
um, yeah, it can be difficult, but it's something that I aspire to, I guess. The
Yeah,
goal of the community I wish to build.
absolutely. Okay. What do you feel you understand better about acting now than when you started?
How much work it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, you know, it is hard. It is a hard business to be an actor. Uh, there's a whole side of it that a lot of people don't get to see from the constant self-taping and auditioning to the administrative things to
Mhm.
the rejections where you get really close to a role that you're really excited about and it doesn't end up working out, um, to the then having to perform and do a good job while trying to balance all of that when you are working. Um, it's hard. It's hard. And it's a lot of plates to juggle, plates to spin, I guess. But I don't think I would trade it for the world.
Hmm. Definitely. And I think rejection plays a huge impact in this career, but I think a lot of people need to understand that the person, if you get rejected, it's not them saying that you're bad at what you do, it's that you just don't
Oh,
fit
absolutely.
that particular role.
Mhm.
But there's plenty
Yeah,
out
no,
there for what you
it's
need.
absolutely not personal. And sometimes it's a matter of height, it's a matter of hair color.
Hmm.
If someone's casting a family, it's a matter of um uh, facial features, or you're based in Los Angeles, or we have this person that we're bringing in for this role, and so then, you guys are too similar in like type or
Yeah.
build or whatever it is, and we need some contrast on screen. So, you know, it's so not personal. And as long as you're doing your work and you're putting your best foot forward, at the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What part of the filmmaking process do you appreciate more the longer you work in the industry?
Mm. The difference a a solid crew makes. And like I was talking about earlier, the difference in product when the energy on set is good. It like the amount of work that our crew does to make us look good
Mhm.
is insane. You know, like the amount of time they spend setting up lights and lining up shots and having us walk from here to here, the amount of time that our makeup artists put in and our hairstylists put in is incredible. And it really does take a village to make what people see on screen. And until you're a part of it and you see how much time goes into making even 1 minute of an edit, you don't realize how labor intensive it is.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things that I didn't realize going into it. And yeah, like I talked about earlier, even if you have an amazing cast of people, an amazing crew, if people aren't on the same page energetically, it's going to be really hard to lead that team to victory. That director
Yeah.
is going to have a hard time getting people moving in the right direction. And I've been on sets where it's been rough, but we've made it through. And sets where I looked forward every morning to getting up at 4:45 a.m.
Hmm.
to make my call time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you've
yeah,
got to be
that's
excited to get up that time of the morning.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, those two things I think are some of the biggest.
Yeah. Okay. I have two more questions. What is
Yeah.
your funniest moment on set?
Hmm. Um, I think, oh, VO is something that is not necessarily unique to the verticals, but is a very common aspect of them, especially during intimacy scenes.
Mhm.
And so in The Princess First Love, we have an intimacy scene where it's post an altercation with some bullies, and I'm wrapping up my co-star's hand.
Yeah.
And the intimacy scene starts, and there's some lines and then there's some voiceover. So we're going through and we're doing a take of the intimacy scene. And as we're in the middle of it, we hear someone say, "Oh, that's so fucking hot." And we all pause for a second.
Mm.
And we turn around, we're like, oh, like thank you, like appreciate it, but we were like in the middle of something, and it
Mm.
was, oh, God bless her heart. It was our first assistant director reading the voiceover of what I
Oh,
was supposed to be saying in my head, and we
right.
didn't realize it in the moment, and oh, that was a good laugh. That was a
That
good
would have
laugh
been
on set.
funny.
Yeah, because
Oh gosh.
especially, yeah, those scenes can sometimes feel awkward, or
Hmm.
it's a very strange thing to film as an actor,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a funny moment that lives rent free in my head.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that, we as an audience can see that intimacy scene and we're all like, oh, that, that's hot or
Yeah,
whatever. But doing it is so awkward, that you're around 30 odd people while you're doing it. It's
yep.
not as,
Even a closed
yeah.
set is still, 12 to 15 people.
Yeah. It's not like it portrays on screen. Like it's
Mm-mm.
so much, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a quiet, intimate moment.
No.
It's, in between takes, it's like, okay, we're gonna go again. Let's bring in lighting here, hair, makeup, fly in, and
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
I
a
think
unique.
making it
Yeah,
lighthearted would help a lot.
yes, yeah, and especially, I mean, Greg was such a
Mm.
wonderful co-star, and our intimacy coordinator Olivia was so wonderful in helping us feel comfortable and helping us communicate with the director on what we were envisioning and what she was envisioning, and it having a great intimacy coordinator as well makes
Yeah.
a
Olivia is
huge difference.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I cannot speak her
Hmm.
praises enough.
Yeah. No, it's very, very good. And it's good when they're like, they have to be really set into what they need because their job is so important. Like
Hmm.
for the safety of you
Absolutely.
guys and the direction of where it's going, it's very important that they're on. They're on. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, they have a hard job because
Mm.
they're trying to fulfill the director's vision while also respecting the actor's boundaries. And
Yeah.
they have to be really creative problem solvers to be able to say, okay, how can we get this or get this feeling or get this vibe of what the director is thinking while also respecting what we've discussed. And so
Yes,
I respect
absolutely.
them
Me too.
immensely.
Me too. All right, last question. If you could go back and relive a single moment in your career, which moment would you pick?
I think hmm, I don't know that there's one single moment. It's my Libra coming out. I can't pick just one to save my life. But there are some moments on set when you're in a just insane location and you're dressed up and you're ready to go, and it's it's a lull between the notes that you've been given and when the cameras are rolling, and you're able to be there by yourself prepping, and you get to look around and say, wow,
Hmm.
this is like, how did I get here? You know?
Yeah.
And really appreciate where you are. I think I've talked about it before, but filmmaking is so hectic
Yeah.
and there's so many things going on that you don't necessarily always get time to appreciate it in the moment. But those little glimmers, those little brief moments when you do are so special. And
It's like a
they,
pinch me moment. Like a,
yes,
yeah.
and they fill your actor cup.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Of
Absolutely. No. Good. Well, thank you so much for having this interview with me today. I really appreciate it. I had a
course.
great time chatting with you.
Me as well. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Okay, I'll talk to you again very soon.
Awesome. Bye-bye, Kathy.